guys, my name is Ryan Cody Nez with the Cow Dude. I'm with Rowan McCabe, the guy in a black hat, black shirt, and pink tie. You might have seen him at mostly all the rodeos, and he'll be booking for any events coming up. But we're just going to talk a little bit about, the rodeo he's been at recently, which was the White Springs Stampede. He was there over the weekend, and it was fun having him, and I also got to compete, and it was a good experience, and probably one of the best rodeos around, isn't it?
Yeah, the reputation and the respect from rodeo contestants, as you heard, Jareth Curley as well as Wyatt Batoni for winning the all-around, was well respected throughout the Native community, and really for the Central Navajo Rodeo Association. That association alone just shows you how strong and how much they love their rodeo out in the White Springs Stampede. And again, a big thanks out to Ronan B5 as well as Eugene Barlow and the entire family for inviting us all out and put it on your calendar every third weekend of August of every year, and we always have something different in the new lineup every year.
So what was the best part about the rodeo?
Oh gosh, there's quite a few different things that go into the actual rodeo itself. The hard part is really before the rodeo or the microphone and the music comes on. So the preparation, as a rodeo announcer, I really aspire to the organization, so the professionalism and the preparation that goes into it. And you can tell by the cue of the national anthem when the fireworks went off. I didn't know those were going to go off. At the end of the rodeo, both nights, there were fireworks as well. So just having that organization all the way down to a T at that much, knowing, once I closed the rodeo out, they're over there with their lighters lighting the fireworks. After every one of the events, there was an individual impromptu out of Ronan B5 production team that came up with the post-it of whoever was your winner. And just having that into prompt really knows that we're coming into a great place that is well prepared, and it just gives you that opportunity to announce and facilitate the rodeo. And that's all hospitality, and by my terms, they're taking care of you so that you can come in and take care of a great rodeo. And it's well appreciated. You can tell by social media right now, folks are really aspiring to that level, and I think they're really setting a standard. Having that rodeo there in the Rogers Arena just shows that the magnitude of a rodeo that can happen at that level. But to the hospitality and the preparation is what I like. But really, I'm a former saddle bronc rider, and hearing the roar for Lorenzo Bonali, or even just it's saddle bronc riding time in place of the bull riding, it really makes a difference. And again, it shows the significance of the rodeo and where the heart is of Running B5. Not taken away from any other rodeos out there, but it just shows their uniqueness and how they want to present rodeo, and maybe not follow the standard rodeo event outline. They want to spice things up a little bit more because they know that what is well followed is the bronc riding and the bareback, and they're proud of their riders in the Central Navajo Rodeo Association.
A lot of people know you as, the rodeo announcer in rodeo, but, a lot of people know you as, with the McCabe Experiential Learning, working with individuals and youth. A lot of people may have seen you at the college or somewhere else, but you have a lot of irons in the fire. So, but let's just kind of introduce yourself and what are your plans, and maybe someone out there who doesn't know could be related to you.
Right. So the great thing about being Navajo is you can be in Japan, China, whatever continent, and these clans all fire off, and you're like, wow, I'm related to him, and that is great medicine. That's what gives that person maybe in Ireland right now who is hoping for fry bread at some time, but to hear that language come across, it's really a blessing. But yeah, te she Roman McCabe in a shed not kaiden the Shlekia Ani Bushes Chin. Ted Cheating Dasha Che and Tedis Gizdi Dashanella. I am originally from Tuba City, Arizona. I was born and raised there. My dad and family, they were all in the rodeo and in the ranching sector. So I grew up around cows, horses, animals all my life, and really got into riding horses at a young age. Then the squad ant scene, first time breaking a horse. So every time I talk about or I joke about the squad ants horse at the rodeo, that really comes into play because that was me. I experienced the wild horse you get on. He's going to be tamed afterward, and so that really was the horse contact that I have had, and just growing up as an athlete also. The MXL or the McCabe Experiential Learning really started back probably when I was golfing with my dad. My uncle was the athletic director at one of the local high schools. Gave us some golf clubs. It's all dirt out in Tuba City and red dirt. So we started going and making golf holes, and that really aspired and got me into being active. And that's really where the cornerstone of outdoor recreation. That's what was always in the heart, to promote health and wellness. Even as a young kid at 12 years old, learning how to golf on the reservation dirt, it really stuck with me, and that's something I still do today, and that's what I promote. For the youth, and for our communities that are out there, and not only just on this reservation, but this is for everybody, every demographic that needs some sort of health and wellness, and that doesn't start at 12 years old. At 21, 22 years old, I really got into rodeo back again because of my brothers, and the influences of just being home, and wrestling was always there, but coming back to Tuba City, I coached at my alma mater, so Gray Hills Academy High School, and then I went over to coach at Tuba City High. Well, it's a funny story. 3 years later, I coached at Tuba City High, and I started with my guys at Gray Hills. They killed us when I was the first year coach over at Tuba City High. Very humbling, and so again, that really gave me my love for the youth, and seeing their aspirations go from one thing to another, and you're just trying to make great citizens out of them. And that's what the beauty was, learning at 12 years old, learning how to golf. I really got into rodeo, so much I started riding saddle bronc horses, and I made my bids at the Navajo Nation Fair. I was a permit holder for the PRCA for 3 years. Drew, gosh, like eight NFR bucking horses out of those great rodeos, and those are cool experiences. And as I started riding broncs within that first year, I was with my brother's sister's family, and we would do a lot of junior rodeos, and I wasn't even announcing, but I was just in the back, mocking, mimicking, just having fun, just as you would see guys mock Bob Tallman at pro rodeos. I'm sure there's circles who guys will do this, just as comedy. And my aunt overheard me, and they asked me to announce. I didn't think anything else of it. I said, yeah, I'll do the WJRA finals. And I think this was like 2006 or something. And Christy Esacody was the lady who asked me, and ever since then, they haven't stopped asking me for ever since 2006, 2007 or so. And really, I got so far deep into rodeo announcing. I was riding and announcing at some of the same rodeos that I would ride at, and I did that for about a good 8 years or so. And within that 8 years, I really found and branded myself with a reputation. My first rodeo ever, in the first 3 years, this is how I announced right here. So I was really into branding myself as the guy in black, pink tie and felt hat. And because I know just something in my mind would always be set in there. You always remember that fun laugh that you had when you're a young individual, and if I went out there and did something so maybe far beyond maybe what rodeo, I don't know if they've seen this in rodeo. I know there's some guys who have put tuxedos on and announced, but I didn't know that there was this impression that was there. But that's what I wanted, because I wanted people to remember, and there's still till this day people, hey, the guy with the pink tie and the black hat. that's what they remember me as. They remember the brand that was always there. And I'm really grateful for that because that's what stuck with people and that's how they remind me. I'm not really clichéing any phrases, but I think there's quite a few different ones that have been used more than once, and I was always again like the guy who wanted to carve my own path and create opportunity for others than the mainstream open show rodeos or your professional rodeo stream. I aspire to youth because I think and I know that that's where really that reputation is going to build because I mean right now the kids that I started with in 2006 their kids are rodeoing right now and they know me and they know me as well as I know them, so it's a great compound of information and education, but also knowing their families throughout the years. You were one of those kids. I think you were in like Pee Wee Barrels or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I was like 7, 8, or 9, I could remember you. I would always go to the WGRAs, and you would always be announcing. And I do recall you're like, "Don't forget me, the guy in the pink tie, black shirt, and a black hat."
Right. Yeah.
So that was pretty fun, and I could childhood memories too. So it was
Yeah.
pretty fun having you at the rodeos.
Yeah, so about 2013, 14, I moved out to Farmington, New Mexico, still rodeo announcing. And I attended San Juan College. I was going to go play some basketball like the rest of the Navajos that come here to play ball at the college. And I saw a climbing wall there, and I didn't go play ball. The climbing wall was the next thing, the next chapter that opened in my heart. And for a good 10 years, I still announced, but I did hold off quite a few of the rodeos that I would have wanted to because I found another a source that would be able to impact my youth again, my heart at 12 years old coming out again, to impact the youth and be of a beacon or be of service to them in a way where they don't have to go to a rodeo to experience the enthusiasm that I can give. I like to go out to where they are so that I can share these opportunities, these atmospheres with them. So outdoor recreation was what I had chose because of the way it was presented to me at the climbing wall before I went to go play basketball that day. So they told me there was a class, outdoor leadership, education, and recreation, which I did pursue and I did graduate from San Juan College with. And my niche and my stuff was nothing on the ground. I was either in the air, climbing, rappelling, doing instruction or something, or the other portion was rafting. So like I said, we were never on the ground. We were on water or we were on air, going through rivers, boats, or climbing or instructing somewhere. So those were the two things that really infatuated my mind because I could see this playing out and how it could affect my Navajo people and my native people as well. And I saw it as a great way to promote health and wellness, also mental health, social health as well, and emotional, because there's a lot of things that go into this that play out, and it's the facilitation that comes with the experiential learning. So now this is McCabe Experiential Learning that I had put together just within the past half a year or so, but really pushed out within the past month. And but this is something that has been on my heart again since that 12-year-old little boy who felt, wow, this is really cool to go play golf on the Navajo reservation back home in Tuba. And being able to give that opportunity to kids, but also to the communities, sharing that health and wellness and that emotion, really geared me into shift and put the gas pedal on McCabe Experiential Learning. And right now we are booking groups. We really provide these scenarios of working or building teams, working out, confrontation, customer service, social skills. A lot of things are really under the umbrella of McCabe Experiential Learning. But it's the type of learning that it is. This is nothing new. This is what preschool teachers use all the time, coaches use all the time. It's what you do on your horse, to better your next rope. Sometimes your rope might feel a little weird of texture. The experience that you have of letting it flow through your hand. Maybe it wasn't grippy, slippy enough. The radius, the thickness of it was, didn't fit your hand right enough or something. Or the saddle of a Corriente is different than a running P because maybe the flexibility in it is different. or just the orientation of where the leggings are. You know, once you sit in it, you're going to experience it. So as a saddle bronc rider, you would sit in a bronc saddle and you're like, whoa, that one feels a whole lot different. There's J bar J compared to you know, a severe saddle. You're going to feel the difference between a 1970 Barstow compared to a 2024 Pro Lift, High Lift Barstow bareback rigging. So you can see how experiential learning comes into play even with rodeo itself as well as the sports. I mean, you're only going to make threes like Steph Curry if you're going out there and thinking about it, but you're also experiencing where his footing is, how far left his elbow is, and these are the activities. It's all hands on. We do things paperless, which is a great thing about experiential learning. It's traditional and non-traditional learning all balled in one, also with outdoor expeditionary life skills included into the actual learning of what we do. So as I said, I might be at the chapter house and doing an activity, but I'll open up with my full climbing gear on. So again, the appearance or the impression of this again at the rodeo really sparks off the mind to wonder, what are we going to do here when this guy's dressed like we're going to go climbing and there's no climbing things around here. But it's all about the presentation again and bringing the approach across of what it is. It's really safety, risk management, competency, confidence, but also understanding that you have really quite a few responsibilities limited with the climbing, announcing a rodeo, handling your horse. And this experiential learning can go into a bunch of different ways. It really is just how it's applied. So the beauty of it, it's all custom designed, and I just get the information from group leaders or so. We'll put it all down on pen and pad, and maybe they want to improve communication within the work office, or we have staff who keep showing up late. We don't want to fire them. They're really good, within the office. How can we, maybe impact the company morale or the work culture within that area so that they understand that they are valued. That's really the big thing. That they mean, that they belong there as well. And this is how it is when the guy checks in who is the sixth man or the seventh man on the basketball team. So the sports teams, team building and communication with coaches and skills really puts the relationship of trust and competency within other players, but also it gives the acknowledgement and awareness to know where our skills really are, so that we have our best fitting team out there, but also maybe we can modify our seventh and eighth guys in rotation to be out there, or maybe your second string JV guy on the wrestling team needs to get bumped up, and you just see he's got the quality to handle one of the guys out there. So it's really about the approach of the experiences that I've had. So really going back as a wrestling coach over at Tuba City High for a number of years. College wrestling really plays into that as well, coming out of a really, really tough program, a rigorous program that that was very professional. And again, that's, I think, where a lot of this plays out when they see me at the announcement booth. Sometimes I might not talk to everybody. Sometimes I'm quite serious and professional about the business. But as you can see, I'm quite vocal all the time once you get me going. And these are the things that really aspire to me, because they make the hair on my back raise to know that I can help kids, or I can help individuals, I can help the offices that need just some motivation that goes into it. And it's hard to hear just the words of somebody compared to the actual action and doing something. I think we're really hands-on learners, and that's the best way that we can get things across. Because if I tell you about you trying to tie down a calf, you probably won't understand it. But if I show you and actually put the calf in your hands, and it's like, hey, the hoof should be right here in your visual, and then the hind hoof should already be stretched out with your leg, with your boot down, and then basketed up so that it gives you that Roy Biguet smooth wrap on there every time. So again, Roy Biguet, he says to make it smooth, because experience, he knows that if you make it smooth, it's gonna, you're gonna be either beat the money, or you're gonna, get yourself a world championship buckle.
So let's just go back a little to where you're from, Tuba City. You've seen a lot of us grow up in the rodeo world and outside of rodeo, and being a reservation kid as well. What are some hardships that kids go through that you don't really see? other people don't really see. What are some hardships that us Native American kids have to go through to, to make it out the res and, you know, make it big time?
So I really feel, there's barriers that maybe we might set in front of ourselves. We really normalize what is around us so that once we see something else, it's very foreign to us. So, not really getting that exposure of going to different places and seeing and having those communications. And a lot of these communications can be very valuable in the vehicle, because that's where you have all your kids with you. So the value of communication and introducing these different things and topics, and you're really raising awareness for kids to wonder in their mind of what it is like to go to the beach, or what it is like to go to another continent somewhere, or to see the skyscrapers of New York, and in reality, to get there, these are all things that they might probably see through that, or back in our day, it was a 300-pound TV that you would see Washington D.C. on, and those were things that you would like. Wow, I wanted to always go to see the Lincoln Memorial, or the Washington Memorial, because that's things that we see and things that we find maybe attractive at a young age or so, and you know understanding the realistic piece to get there is really stepping outside of the norm of your comfort zone. It's taking that risk, and you're taking a lot of risk, perceptional risk, I would say, because there's a lot of folks who probably say more things about this negatively than positively. So it's finding, the fine line of where you can harden your mental, awareness about what people are going to think. There's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of decision making that has to happen. And again, there's a lot of family lineage that goes into breaking that lineage sometimes. And if you're a welder, you might be a welder, and that's the expectation. If you're a construction worker, that might be it. And, you go into being a construction worker, then you go back to tell mom and dad, hey, I want to be a rodeo announcer. You're going, here's a target, and then you say that, I want to be a doctor, and everybody's welding or something. Your target's way out here, and the thought perception of like, wow, he's getting that influence somewhere else, and the question of we'll wonder, why would you want to do that? So I think really not accepting what they would what young individuals would want to do, and motivating them toward that instead of trying to talk them out of it, really helps out. Gets the younger generation, even my generation, doesn't even matter, just to think beyond the old adage of this is where I am, this is who I am, and this is what all I can do, and to go on and think about bigger and better things. There are folks right now, even not even in the rodeo world, who are out there doing things. The business sector of Native American businesses are skyrocketing right now, and kids are doing so many things that are outside the box. And that's those are the individuals that are pushing the envelope. And it takes, I would say, very accepting parents, or parental figures to accept my mom and dad saying, okay, you're going to be a rodeo announcer, because they could have said no. That's not viable. That's, you can't do that.
You're gonna be a doctor.
Yeah, you have to become an architect or an engineer like you always wanted to. And again, that's what we make up these definite wishes in life. But when things happen in life, those wise older folks on the road will always be there, and you have to know how to again, not think about just the one path. And this is me, 21 years old, one path. I had to find how this one was going to go out to the right as a rodeo cowboy, and as a rodeo announcer after that. Again, another maybe branch coming off is right now the McCabe Experiential Learning. But really, I'd say just finding the motivation that where you can prevail. So a lot of the atmospheres, it's hard to get into one where people are going to be very positive for you, man. They're going to be like, I want the best for you, and actually understand that they mean it. And again, the great thing about this, the White Spring Stampede, we have our production meetings. I mean, they're not all great. And you know, some of the best rodeos, the production meetings aren't all great, but you know what? That's what it takes for them to come together and work hard and come together as well, all on the same page. And you know, it takes the respect of everybody else to know, again, from that time of being small, you know, raising and thinking, you know, about awareness. You know, that's how respect is built, and that's how, you know, character is built as well, you know, and attitude. So to ball it up all into one, um, I would really say, you know, the attitude of an individual has to be very versatile in its ways to be able to accept, deflect, know what's going to steer you in the right direction, to know how to use the energy that is there, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you being in a rodeo announcer, you see a lot of, especially in rodeo, you see a lot of kids with, talent, and, they got the it factor, they got everything, but, their surroundings or their environment or their parents or the people they surround themselves with, they're not very, motivational, they're not very, helpful in, helping them get to the level they need to be on. So, and now that I'm older, I do see that too. I do see kids, they don't have the, they don't have practice cattle, they don't have the good horses, they don't have, maybe the help they need or people to push them. So I think, it comes down to the individual and saying, I'm not going to back down, I'm not going to give up, so I'm going to do this, with or without help. So I think the attitude is very important.
Yeah, you know, having to be resourceful. You know, Aaron Synergy, he's not sitting at home on one horse into a city off of one horse. You know, he's looking for, you know, the best horse out there, because that's what the world champions do. You know, they're not just there; they're actual business women and men. Haley Kinzel, and she's probably looking for her next horse for the next few years right now. You know, it's a never-ending process of a revolving door, and right now, I always talk about numbers and ratios, and the number probably rose right now, but every American right now in the world probably have 8 horses, you know, with the number of horses that are, you know, in America right now. So, you know, the horses are a dime a dozen, and trying to find the right one is really, you know, having to go the trial and error and go in there and find out the right ones. But that's, you know, one portion, and you know, really, it's the cowboy, the cowgirl, and the attitude, the heart, the mind that really sets them apart from one another. Like I said, it's not the horse making the phone calls; it's Aaron Synergy making the phone calls, as well as, you know, Boyd Polohymus, Wayne Brooks, every one of them. You know, they are networking, they are out there doing their thing, they are getting their communication down, and you know, there's right things that need to happen. If you do things the right way, I feel that things will prevail for you. And if not, I think they'll catch up with you as well sometime down the paper trail.
We talked about Haley Kinsel and Aaron Senegini, so I think it's important, people with their caliber of talent and, their resources and the people they know. It's important for people like that, Eric Rogers, Derek Begay. It's important for individuals like that to come back and, invest into the youth like you are doing with your business. I think it's important to have role models like that to, let little Navajo kids know that, it's possible to make it.
Yeah, you know, I think a great story. I choose to announce for kids in the WJRA and IJRA, you know, by choice, because I love the association, and I love getting, you know, the smiles on their faces, but I like to see them compete at the highest level as well. So if you can create an atmosphere, and I used to do this for them, I would make them feel like it's the biggest rodeo that there are, and I put them into the corner. And I do this to some of the best cowboys out there as well. And sometimes it's funny, they would come up to me and tell me, "Hey, can you not do that to me?" And I tell them why. You know, I want to see you prevail in the best spot. And there are some cowboys and gals, I won't tell their names, but I've gotten them quite a few times. You know, just because I built them up so much, and then because you know, when the light shines, that's when, you know, the stars come out, and you know, that's what I would like to see. So I think, gosh, I don't know what year it was. I think it was Tenayanez, Del Vecchio K. There was probably like 6 or 7 of the INFR world champs. Those were all the kids that I started with at the WJRA and announcing for them, and I watched them win those world titles. And you know, it was a great thing, because you know, that's why I started announcing back then, and just switching the announcing style up to where it's very promotive, and it doesn't matter. I announced at Burt Corn the same exact way for DeBecky his first rodeo, and same thing for yourself. I think it was out in Kaibito somewhere. Some small arenas where they just had panels up, and to see them perform at that level, and to know that they were like that small when I met them, and announce it for them that hard, to see them win was something else. I felt really, really good about the junior rodeo sector and what we do, because that's the foundation. That's where it was. That's where they got the grit, the heart, determination. That's where they found the love and the passion for it a whole lot more. Because in the open, rodeos, it's really all about choice by then. You can. They don't have to keep going after junior rodeo. They can. There's a lot of them that'll find other passions in life once they get to maybe the senior boys or the senior girls, and that's great. What we are doing again is as a wrestling coach, so I'm trying to make good citizens, make the right choices. Yeah, good individuals in life. A lot of them, in the wrestling room, they want to win state titles. A lot of them have the talent to do so and the mindset to do so. But at the end of the day, it's all about how you conduct yourself and how you can be a good citizen to the world, how you can give back and be productive also. So try to be a role model, to role model that alone, because I think that one person can change, and we're slowly looking into an area where we can be more resourceful for maybe the needs on the Navajo reservation with the youth, and where the youth minds go maybe when they don't have that direction. And I always, say this at some rodeos: you can't just have the rodeo direction of rodeo in your life. You got to have education. You got to have spirituality in there. And sometimes rodeo really overshadows that, and it's really hard to see some cowboys or even cowgirls go down that road and watch them struggle, because they're so talented sometimes, and it's very heartbreaking sometimes when these individuals, they go so far as they don't do it anymore, or they become destructive for the sport of rodeo, to where it becomes more of an awareness deal, where we have to start doing different things to make this more aware, more apparent that we care about them so much, when we should be doing it right up at the upfront. And that's another, again, tough thing about rodeo, where these minds go, and where we are right now, and how we interpret things as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into rodeo, not just roping and winning the prizes. It's kind of a business aspect to it. There's money management. You have to learn how to handle your money. There's scheduling which rodeos you want to go to. You may not really think about that when you're at a younger age, because your parents are kind of handling all that. But once you get older, maybe junior high, high school, you finally get to realize there's more to it, and there's more work that needs to be done. So it's, when you get older, it's kind of less pressure on your parents, because now it's on you if this is what you want to do. And I think that's where you see a lot of percentages in rodeo go down, because they realize this isn't easy.
Yeah.
They realize this, I have to put a little more work if I want to go to the next and higher level, and I have to put more of my money into it too now. So
yeah, the transition of dependence to independence, I think, and this is by group proof, many years of just working with kids and other groups as well, where we're really stuck in asking for help and wondering what help looks like in the middle right here. But we're very dependent in a lot of ways, as you said, because we're getting fees paid for right here, and that kind of makes us feel like we're very independent on this side. So when the more responsibility goes that way, is when it starts getting into your ball court a whole lot more, where you have to make decisions more. Maybe you got to work now for your entry fees, or that horse feed is not there substantially every year. Maybe the support and the love is always there, but as rodeo contestants, there is a certain breaking point in time where you're gonna realize, I have to start paying for this on my own. And once that portion happens, and when I bought my first truck out of rodeos, it changed everything because it was mine. I felt different about it. And when you purchase your first horse, your first saddle, you start getting and investing your things with your own money. That is well worked hard for you. Your own tax dollars out of it. It gives you a different perception about it because now there's more care. Like, man, that bridle might not be worth much to me because it was just in the barn. Now I got to go buy a new one because this is the bit that works on my horse, so I got to put some work into it. So the balancing act of just being dependent. Yep, junior rodeo. My mom and dad will be there, or grandparents will be there to supply me and help me out. But getting all the way to the point where you're making decisions on your own, you're not fully dependent on them, you're not asking for anything, basically. And that's what makes a professional cowboy, in my opinion. But if you get all the way to here, you're still going to be. There's going to be folks dependent on this side called sponsors, like Classic Rope, or some equine manufacturer, or some gaming commission out there. They're going to be dependent on their brand, and they'll want that guy who's very independent now, like an Eric Rogers, who has a rodeo, a roping coming up in October as well over at Round Rock. And same thing with the awareness that Derek McCabe gives out with his Cowboys and Indians, or anytime he does a TikTok. Those are very valuable because it gives representation and it role models what, again, the possibilities are from, young little Navajo boys who didn't think maybe where their rope was ever going to take them as well. And, cool thing, I used to know Aaron Sinjini when he was just a little kid in wrestling shoes, and we'd go to PB wrestling matches. And he would always have this rope with him, and, you could just see some point in time where that rope was, he was going to rope something. If he was going to rope the moon, he roped himself a gold buckle. And, that's the drive that some little kids have. And, to push that and to give them the right facilitated tools and the right connections. He didn't have to stay in Tuba to do that. He went elsewhere and he found, the best ropers where he could make them the best guys. And if you see the best guys, that's why they're always together, and that's why they win. Your top three guys, you can throw Bird in there as well. And, really, as you said, the influences around you are going to create, those opportunities. Show me your friends, we'll show you your future. And, those guys hung out together, and, that's two of them world champs. All of them world champs.
Speaking on independency and trying to get better and going to the next level, that responsibility does come to you. You have to go out and reach for help and find people who are better than you to help you. So was there anyone like that you reached out to help you in your business or maybe your rodeo announcing?
Yeah, I guess I got a Mount Rushmore of folks who are very intricate for me. The first individuals were out of the WJRA, so I think it was Tommy Manson, Jeffrey Jim, Ray Tracy. These are guys who, they're the first ones that counsel me, to talk to me, and to tell me, how good of a job I was doing. And it was all my first rodeo. I didn't know them at all, and these were just random people talking to me. After I just said about 1,000 names of people I didn't even know either, they're like, man, that was really cool. I liked how you said this. We really like the message that you spread, with our rodeo contestants, especially for our kids. They need to hear some of these things. So really giving that, again, I guess that validation, and that's not what I was seeking or looking for. I just wanted to announce a rodeo and make $50.
Yeah, make some money.
Yeah, make some money. It wasn't even a thought at that point, but that was it. Boom, that turned the switch on, and that changed everything around. And going on doing bigger productions. The next. There's some rodeos, staple rodeos you always want to do, right? Or there's some big events that you always want to do, and there are people whose names are beside it. And one of the first ones that called me out was Leonard Williams Sr. to do the Toronto Team Open Classic. And just on a cell phone, you see a number, hi, it's Roman McCabe. And, it's like, hi, this is Leonard Williams Sr. with Toronto Team Open Classic. I was like, holy cow, this is the guy, okay? And, I talk with him, we consult, we figure things out, and So I go out to Toronto 19 Open Classic, and this is just after Bobby Moat won the World Championship, bareback rider, all the way out of Oregon. He was there on the reservation. I asked him to be my grand marshal. I shook the hand of the championship bareback rider. He was just there 4 times, and I felt the grip. And I was like, wow. And that alone, it just the magnitude of emotions, they come into play for something that you love. And some folks, this could be just barrel racing for them. Very selective. If it's rodeo announcing or public speaking for you, because that's a couple of things that are very, very, very frightful. But after Leonard, there's quite a few different other folks. I wouldn't call around, and that's one thing. I still don't do. I don't really like call around to announce any of these rodeos. I always knew that the Dennisons and the Holyhounds were always there because man, they're commissioner. They do bigger rodeos. They're rodeo coach. So once Carl Dennison, my good buddy, Dennison family, he called me up, and this was for a college rodeo, and it was just for the one performance. And he was pretty urgent about me coming out because I'd seen him at some other rodeos, and he told me to come out. But just shaking the hand and talking, with Carl Dennison, it moves you, and again, it provides validation in your heart and your mind. Because these are well-respected guys, from my opinion, and for them to ask me to go out there, it felt like I finally got to a different step in announcing, and I was doing things right. And so that's how I got into the National Intercollegiate College Rodeos. We have a rodeo coming up in October. So Carl Dennison, and then John Boyd Jr. as well. This is where I got into the Navajo Nation Fair. And John Boyd, I think he was on the Cow Dude a few weeks back. And you gotta love him. Just straightforward. I love honesty. I love truth. Some folks tell me I'm too truthful. I'm not truthful. I'm just res. And the truth just sets everything at the stage apart, because I don't want to hear or be lied to. I'd rather hear right straight on the head, so I can try to find a better way to find the solution to it. Don't have all the answers, just simple solutions to complex problems. And John Boyd Jr., this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. It really told me another way of how to do things also. And then my fourth guy, I really appreciate and respect Casper Baca, because he called me also, and I did his series. I did I think it was the Proud American Tour, the Great American Tour, quite a few years for him. And just developing that relationship, Casper Baca, and this is after he just did the INFR, and again, just to get that type of validation from a well-respected stock contractor for quite some times. First thing that came to my mind was High Rise. You remember, High Rise the Bull, and I was like, wow. And I used to ride for Casper Baca as well, as a bronc rider, and I saw the magnitude of the rodeo. So finally getting into that and doing those, and showing me how to do things and being very direct is what I liked. So our rodeo producers, they're very direct. Is I would say that the proper method to do so. Don't beat around the bush, because this is your product, your rodeo, your production. Tell them how you want it, because that's the best way that you're going to get the results that you want out of it. So those four individuals were really some guys who really developed the inspiration for me to keep going, and to know that I have found a great spot in rodeo. But once I got to the Navajo Nation Fair, I met Wayne Brooks, and Wayne Brooks became a fan because he was like, I was wondering who was doing the slack up there, and I thought it was another pro rodeo announcer that they brought in, but it was you, and I didn't know Wayne Brooks. I was so far into rodeo by then, like I didn't know who he was, but I had just read the Cowboy Grill because Derek McCabe was on it the week before that, or the month before that, and then Wayne Brooks was right there, and I saw him, and then this dude Wayne Brooks is up right behind me, and he said, "Hi, I'm Wayne Brooks," and then I was kind of starstruck. This might be like you meeting Billy Epbauer, or Trevor Brazil, or a movie star of somebody's, somebody that's a rock star. And just to know that he's done the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, I felt very privileged that the Navajo Nation Fair brings him there, because he only does a certain amount of rodeos, and he's the one who actually vouched for me to go to Chad Nicholson and Bob Tallman's Pro Rodeo Announcing Training Seminar. So meeting those and making those connections, but also doing a good job. Doing the job the way that was expected. It really gets your boot into the doors. So big thanks up to Wayne Brooks for getting me into Chad Nicholson and Bob Tallman's rodeo out to school. The next chapter, boom, flip the page on the golf course, get a phone call out of nowhere. Hi, I'm Bob Tallman. And it sounded like you're in Boot Barn. Welcome to Boot Barn. This is Bob Tallman, the official rodeo voice. But Bob Tallman called me as I was playing golf at my golf course in Tuba. And, hi, this is Bob Tallman. This is Roman McCabe. I was like, this is Roman McCabe. All right, Roman, this is Roman McCabe. You got 1 minute of my time. If you can't talk to me at a professional rodeo level, stature, or level, I'm going to hang up on you. Do you understand? I was like, oh, you betcha. And we talked for I think 2.5 hours. Chad Nicholson was on the conference call as well. And, just having that level of communication and be able to talk back and forth. And it's not communication, it's connectedness. Bob Tallman, Chad Nicholson, and Wayne Brooks, they're all cowboys, real cowboys. And they ranch, they rode, they were PRCA rodeo cowboys. So they know that's why they can make a connection with cowboys and cowgirls better than anybody else can. Same thing with Boyd Pulahamus. And it's validation of them and their voice and their experiences going in. That's what funnels the experience that they bring to the rodeo, and that's what and why they're the best guys, because they tell the truth. And that's one of the things at the rodeo announcer school, as that's what it is. You can't lie about being on a bronc, and as a rodeo announcer, or if you haven't roped, and done any of these things, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to connect with the crowd or make that glue stick. So using those valuable experiences and getting out, it really has paid off in more than one way. But rodeo announcing has been, I think the changing point in my life, because that helps me out be a better wrestling coach. That helped me out be a better instructor when I was working for the college, or helped me be a better boss when I was teaching climbing or rafting lessons or so, or things on a boat. And it really plays out really well. Just at rodeos, rodeos in general. And if folks need advice on rodeos, always willing to help out and talk. But really, what holds me together is, and a lot of families, all they see is the cowboy, the cowgirl out there, and they don't see the roots in the ground that hold me down. And for me, it's my wife and my kids, and my mom, my dad, my family. They're the ones who really give me the inspiration for, again, not at be telling them I want to be a rodeo announcer and them encouraging me to do it, instead of saying, no, I think you need to go back and do construction some more still, and it was well.
I mean, that right there could be a two-way street. Your parents or wife, girlfriend, whatever, telling you should go back into construction. That then goes again to having the attitude, I want to do this instead.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to find what really is going to work out for you. And with age, the decision really isn't yours anymore once you have family, kids, and other wonderful things that just balance out your life a whole lot more, that need your attention, that need you as a dad, you as a husband, you as that figure or that role model always there, because that's what my dad did for me, that's what my brothers did for me, and my aunts and my uncles. And then you can hear it in my voice at the rodeo sometimes, very courteous. I like to have things done with character as well. So just on simple fruit scrambles or so, get the back of the line, just wait, and run out there when you're given the time to or so. But really giving the kids the time, an opportunity to learn. That's why I tell them, take your time. I'm here all day. We're here at a junior rodeo. There's no scholarships going to be given away here. At the end of the day, so take your time. Try to learn this process. And it's not the process of doing it at home. It's doing the process inside the arena. So like I said, all you see is 20% of the cowboy, the cowgirl, and that 20% might be Haley Kinzel's 17-second run. That's all you'll see her. Then she's gone. Or an 8-second run by a tie-down roper, and then they're gone. And they go back to their families. They go back to their circle, their support circle, and they go on to the next rodeo, because that's what they've chosen. That's what makes a cowboy out of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. There's a lot to just an individual, especially a cowboy, because you only see like a small portion of them. You don't know if they're struggling or, if there's an emergency at home or whatever, but that's kind of your part of the job too. So
You're right.
you gotta, let, the audience know what their background is and whatever.
Yeah. At the school, there's this funny guy, because like, man, I gotta sit up there and I gotta be a therapist, I gotta be a psychologist, I gotta be a teacher, I gotta be a first responder, I gotta be a caregiver or nurse, I gotta be as hard as a construction man, and I gotta sound like Paul Harvey all in the same breath, and not offend anybody who else is out there, and to have it all come out, smooth like fried bread grease. It takes some work. It takes again a lot of experiences. The older you get, the more experiences that you have, that you can talk to crowds who are in families who have kids, who know what those commonalities are compared to when I was younger. I couldn't talk about being married or having kids because I haven't experienced those as well, or maybe even doing graduations or college graduations. It's a little bit better when somebody has that experience because they've been through it and they know what it feels like. So again, these experiences are really what I'm tapping into, and that's what brings the MXL, to life, because I find value in it, and that's what again I like to promote to my people in a different way, in the form of just activity or the form of team building, in the form of laughter also. So kind of taking that laughter that we just had with Aaron Henry over at White Spring Stampede. You picture that inside an office where you might have some attitude going on, within the office, right?
Some harassment, complaints.
Some Title IX, HR issues. We could keep it underneath that, and really it is just lingering communication, follow through, maybe misunderstandings as well, that we don't want to come to amends with, because again we're pretty stern, we're stable. We were taught to not give an inch because it's going to take a mile. But just talking with your staff or your team is gonna enhance them to know that they belong there, and the attitude just might change a little bit. And a guy called me the other day. He was like, "What kind of wizard wand do you wave for change?" And I was like, "There's no wizard wand waving here. There's wishfuls and there's wants. And the high wishes are going to come from what you want, and whatever the group wants out of it is whatever they're going to get. They might want that for the 2 to 3 hours of the full day program that we have scheduled for them, but after that, it really is, do you guys really want to change your productivity, your communication skills, your again your company, appreciation for them that they work there as well. So that's just a choice that they make, and a lot of and this is even off of the reservation as well, and which is a good thing because that's job security, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the language is so much different from like a pro rodeo to like a res rodeo. Like, just the jokes and the humor and the language is things you could say at a res rodeo you probably couldn't say at a pro rodeo.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta filter through a different avenue that's gonna be more mainstream, more pop culture-ish, you could say. But the beauty of what me and Aaron Henry do, just like we did at White Spring Stampede, is we're both about the same age, and we both have the same, almost same experiences, and we both grew up around the rodeo, so we're able to almost say anything we can tap off and make a 90-point ride out of it. So, and it's all preparation. Again, all you see is just for the rodeo. But him and I, he's on my phone. We talk before the rodeo, after the rodeo, what worked, what didn't. This one had the best laugh. This one didn't do anything. And you incorporate that with what, native humor, native culture, native politics, current events that are going on right now, and uh, all we're in entertainment business. We're in a people business as well, and we're there to give out good medicine. We're there to give out some entertainment that you can take away with, maybe even post on your social media. Because if you did that, we did our job. And if folks are saying that this is a really great rodeo, I think the production team really did their job as well, because it was well facilitated. And like I said, I mean, we got an email from Eugene this morning about next year's rodeo and how he's going to change it already, how he's going to make improvements. And I might just blibber blabber on the microphone, but that's what I say. In every great rodeo production, they work 362 days out of the year. So the Monday, man, they're back on it again. And the 80-20 rule, you only see them one time, out of the year. So that's all the work that they put into it, for one big gulp right there. And, it paid dividends. $120 for 300 Kawasaki quad, two of them. There was $20 for a whole trailer, a stock trailer full of like 50 people that you can drive in there. So Eugene Barlow and Ronnie B5, they really give it back all to the rodeo crowd. And I think that the native humor that goes into it as well, has really developed. And we're really developing a landscape to where people know that these are fun places. The rodeo scene can be a great place to go out and just express and vent and de-stress and find, because that's what rodeo was created for. It was a place where you can have the opportunity to come out and just sit there, watch, be entertained, not have anything else in the world, laugh about some funny things that are maybe currently actually happening, maybe at the office, with a little bit of humor that goes into it. And I'm just really grateful that folks are very accepting to a lot of the content that we put out there. And it's just a fun time. I think that type of barrel manning and that type of content, that needs to be a Nav Nation fair, because that's the biggest stage that the Navajos have right there. Man, if they hear all that content, all that humor, all that culture, all that comedy, man, that I can guarantee you that's probably gonna be one of the best laugh shows that they've had at the Nav Nation Fair. And the best thing about it, it's all Navajo.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of Native American entrepreneurs or business owners, they probably ask how do I get these opportunities, or how do I come in touch with these people? But a lot of it is marketing yourself, marketing your business, networking. I feel like you've done a great job in doing that with with the connections you have and the phone calls that you receive that you weren't aware of. So I think that's important to just put in the work and create content, and just they'll come to you.
Yeah, it really is how much you apply yourself. Again, you could announce 100 rodeos out of the year and not have any good messages out of it at all and get no calls back. You can do 2 rodeos out of the year. You could do 1 rodeo at the beginning of the year, and how many people there? I mean, it's an audition. It's an opera. You were there marketing yourself and how to sell the sponsors, how to sell the cowboys, your rodeo knowledge, your education about rodeo itself as a whole, holistically, not just this rodeo, but rodeo as a bigger picture. What other folks are doing in rodeo and how they are impacting rodeo as well, how your business can be a part of rodeo also. So it's a really, really great avenues that folks can be a part of. And for all the small businesses over at Eugene's White Spring Stampede, around the whole arena panel, almost every one of those businesses, with maybe the exception of like 5 or 6 of them, they're all 100% Navajo-owned businesses that are giving back, and they know where their businesses was best promoted, and that's there at the rodeo. And that's because I know there's a lot of people that are going to be there at the rodeo as well to take away. And it's a selection process on how and who you want to promote your rodeo, and that's the rodeo director or the rodeo production team, and how they want to pursue their rodeo announcers or their personnel that's going to voice their rodeos. Because like I said, again, it doesn't matter how many rodeos you can have X amount and still not draw the effect or what your expectations are out of it. So the outcomes and the expectations still might not meet the needs of where you are and not get any calls back. But it's the application of doing every one of those things. If I'm fully dependent, I'm just sitting there waiting on Bob Tallman to call me again. Bob Tallman's not going to call me again. I've got to be interdependent and work crowds, network with people, reach out, um, talk to the right people, the right ways. And like I said, you can talk to 100 people and still not get a rodeo. But if you talk to Leonard Williams or John Boy Jr., you just might get that one where everybody's there. That'll bring that that'll make it blossom for you in that one shot right there as well.
Is there any form of marketing that you do, like social media or other ways that you network with others to connect with people?
Really, I got a social media page, and that really right now is I think the biggest currency that goes around by the eyeball. But I've noticed in my years of announcing, one thing that I always did, again, brand, people know this guy. I think my first like 8 years of rodeo announcing, I would go around after the rodeo and shake everybody's hand, and say, thank you for coming to rodeo. If you had, thank you for coming to rodeo. Hi, I'm Roman. Thank you for coming to the rodeo. And I just thank them for coming out. So that's just guerrilla marketing right there. Just walking around doing the whole introduction in person, saying hi, because I want people to see who I am as a person, compared to what they see on a screen. Because what you might see on a screen could be totally different than the person you'll see in person. So making that first impression, behind the microphone, and then going out there as well as shaking hands, it makes a whole lot of difference for the people that you are trying to connect with in your target audience. Now, these are the Navajo folks that I am talking about right here, because I know that they want a handshake. This is how we meet people as Navajos. They want that hard interaction, hard line. They don't care about the phone. They want to see how you act, because character goes into how they develop respect, and this is coming from culture, and this is how I was brought up as well. If you want something, you got to go over there and you got to ask for it, and you got to not necessarily say, hey, I want I want you to pay me this much money so I can announce it. It's a lot different. How are you going to promote them? How are you going to how are they going to be best featured under your voice, under your hat, compared to anybody else? So it's like a job interview every time you go out to do another rodeo. And so social media, definitely. I make a lot of connections just at the rodeos. Over the years, just announcing a lot of rodeos. I think I've almost, gosh, they've done every rodeo arena out here. Uh, Big circles, big networks, knowing stock contractors, knowing rodeo productions, and once you got all of those folks into your circle, there's no more than really just an email, kind of behind the scenes, not really reaching out or doing any promotional things just yet. Sometimes I'll do one here and there, but really I like to have folks come hear me, see me, and meet me up in the announcing booth and see what I really offer, see who I am as an individual as well. Because like I said again, you're seeing a facade when it's on through a screen. You're seeing three sides of a person, but you're not seeing the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into marketing, being a rodeo announcer. So I can really see you doing a good job of doing that. All right, let's do some rapid questions before we wrap up. All right, favorite res rodeo.
White Springs Stampede.
Favorite place to announce.
Kenny Young's arena, the bull riding, the smaller arena up there at Kenny Young's house. That is the best place ever. Navigation Fair, the D&C Jackson is really nice, but man, that one is like you're driving Megatron or Transformer when you're up there at Kenny Young's. If they build more arenas, they got to build one like that.
Favorite store snack when traveling.
I like
Drink.
I like moon pies, the chocolate moon pie. It's kind of old school. My favorite drink, I like Pepsi. I mean, I don't drink a whole lot of it. Pro tip: caffeine really kills the voice, so you're not gonna find me drinking Pepsi or coffee before a rodeo, because that's what really kills your voice.
Favorite go-to joke.
Favorite go-to joke, gosh, it really just depends on scenario or place. Some folks always come back to me and say, "Hey, I liked how you said, I only know three doctors." I think I said Dr. Pepper, Dr. Dre, and Dr. Joe Shirley. Again, now humor,
Yeah.
and I mean, they feel like you're gonna tell them three honest doctors. I could have said Dr. Phil as well, but you hear Dr. Dre, Dr. Pepper, and Dr. Joe Shirley. Yeah.
All right, last one. Who's the most famous person you have on your contacts?
The most famous person I have on
Your phone contacts.
my phone contact. I still have Bob Tallman and Wayne Brooks' phone numbers.
All right.
Well, Wayne Brooks, he allows me to give him a call. He calls me if he's going to be at any one of the Indian rodeos so that we can work on doing day sheets as well. And this is where the rodeo announcing connection comes in. If he needs any of these cowboys and cowgirls history or whatever, that's where networking comes in. They'll give us a call. Hey, I remember, hey, Justin Granger's coming up out here in Oklahoma. Do you know anything about him? Or hey, Matt Jody's coming up out here in Pendleton, and like, do you know anything about Matt Jody? And it's like, yeah. And so just to get random calls like that. I haven't got a call from Bob Tallman, but he did tell us at the rodeo announcer school, you have my number, give me a call anytime you want. I haven't called him yet though.
All right. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to say?
Well, just thank you for the opportunity. Tune into the Cow Dude, like, follow, and if you are looking for rodeo production or any lines of team building or experiential learning, health promotions, schools, youth organizations, folks within the workplace, call my business or follow McCabe Experiential Learning and check out what we've got. We've just established, and again, I do want to thank Ryan Codinez for the Cow Dude for bringing us out here. And let's rodeo. Have yourselves a great weekend, and thank you again.
What's one piece of advice you would like to share?
One piece of advice I'd like to share for just about anybody.
Yeah, just general.
If you want to be different, don't be afraid, and just like Lane Frost said, be willing to take and know how to encounter those different perspectives and those different perceptions that may come in line as well. And there's nothing wrong with creating your own path and creating a brand, and however well or however it's interpreted, they're going to remember it. And that's really it's kind of like the buzzwords that you hit on Google. Once they see this pink tie, everybody knows it's going to go right back to the one individual who had that tie. And I appreciate the other guys who are actually wearing ties now as well.
Is that the same tie you had over the last years?
No, this one is actually one of the newer ones. Funny thing, I had the same exact shirt, pants, boots, belt, hat for I think 7 years. I would wash it, but it was the same thing. And at the 8th year or so, I finally started changing, and I said, that guy's only going to come out every sweet Saturday night. That's it. And it's a Monday, but make sure you put this out on Saturday night.
What's next for you? Next rodeo,
So we will be out in Pruitt at the Bi-County Fair this coming Sunday and Monday. We have a big breakaway roping. I think there's a good 2K added into it. There's a lot of breakaway ropers who will come on out for that. The Debbie Lee Memorial Junior Rodeo is also going to be on Labor Day Monday. With my business, I do climbing, I do rope experience stuff, raft guides. So in the second and third weekend of September, we have raft trips scheduled. So I'll be on the San Juan with Ancient Waves rafting, going down the river, and then October, the fairs are coming out, so we'll be in Shiprock, hopefully Tuba, as well as the college rodeo at the Net College as the NRA rodeo kicks off.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I really like to expand the business and like to venture out into other reservations to see how big of an impact we could do out there with my business, McCabe Experiential Learning. As a rodeo announcer, I still see myself announcing rodeos at a bigger caliber, but still, what goes along with the brand and this pink tie is my loyalty for the first rodeos that I've done, and that's what I've always stood on. Like I'll always do the Howard's Memorial Rodeo out in Kaibatu because that's one of the first rodeos that I've ever done, and that's loyalty and that's respect. Just like I'll always do, like the Holgate's Rodeo, the junior rodeo. Even though it's a junior rodeo, man, those are some of the rodeos that really fuel my schedule and give me the emotional social support that you need to go on down to the rodeos because those are good folks and they treat you well. White Spring Stampede, that's one of the top three rodeo productions that I've worked for, and it doesn't matter whatever level that is, always going to go back to those rodeos because those are foundation points and those are very well sought after rodeos where I feel that those are the rodeos that help raise me as an individual where I grew up at as well. But it also gave me the boost that I needed to be, and the ears that I needed to get into to get more rodeos out as well.
Where can listeners find you online? Do you have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube?
I just have a Facebook, Roman McCabe. You can see this guy on there on the horse, McCabe Experiential Learning as well. So that both of those they funnel through myself. But other than that, that's probably really it. That's where you can find me. Really secluded, so the only place you can find me is at the announcement booth. So if you want the opportunity to talk, that's where you got to find me. So like I said, or you can give me a call. But to get the best results and the best experience is talk to somebody, get the hands-on experience so that you actually know what you're going to get out of the product.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Roman, for joining my podcast, and thank you for sharing your experiences and advices and thoughts about rodeo. And it's pretty important to get information out and share with the people so they can learn and get better and help them get to the next level. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.